Organic Dope, MMA 6. Bill Schumer sitting here with Rob Hallaman, Dan Littlefield.
Ooh,
back once again. Guys? We had 150. Frankie Edgar, Benson Henderson.
Eventful card. I thought it was good finishes. I thought it was a good fight, a good card.
About the fight, what do you think? Come on.
Ben Henderson wins.
Really?
Ben Henderson wins.
Well, you picked Ben. And what do you think?
I gotta be honest. I was sick last weekend. I didn't see the fights. I did eventually see the preliminaries because I DVR'd them. But luckily, I do have Fuel, and they do show the finishes for pretty much all the fights. But there was no finish in Frankie Edgar versus Ben Henderson. So what they did is
show it. Was it a highlight of?
They showed highlights, and
the
only highlight that looked in favor of Benson Henderson was like a kick from like when he was on the ground to the head. Like,
yeah, and it didn't even.
It was a nice kick. I thought it was.
It looked sweet and it was good, but it didn't affect him.
But most of the highlights looked like Frankie was getting the best of him, and based on what I've read on like the internet, it looked like most people thought Frankie won.
It looked like most people had him 3-2. I actually had him 4-1.
Yeah.
But I saw. I mean, there was some close rounds in there, but Frankie had 2 dominant rounds, number 2 and 5, that I don't think anybody can.
Yeah,
but so they have to give Ben the other 3.
Didn't 2 of the judges give round 5 to Ben Henderson? It was a split decision.
I don't know the round breakdown of how the judges did it.
I thought Ariel Helwani had said that 2 of the judges that gave it to Henderson gave Henderson round 5. I could be wrong, but
he ended up on the top.
Round 1, 3, and 5 is what I think they gave.
I felt Ben Henderson just done. He did enough at the beginning of the fight with his leg kicks. He was, I mean, at one point in time, it literally looked like Frankie Edgar's thigh or his calf muscle was bleeding. He kicked him so hard and so many times in that leg.
Blood dripped off his face.
And no, it wasn't blood at all. It was actually just a stretch mark from like his leg being so.
They said on Fuel though that he
that's the round I gave Ben Henderson. Was round 1.
Yeah, but they said
he did that for like the first 3 rounds. He was kicking him in that leg.
They said in Fuel though.
Frankie whooped him in the second round, dude.
They said on Fuel though he stopped doing leg kicks after the first round. So, I mean,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Frankie he threw more punches. I don't know about that fight metric shit. They're off, I think.
I think it comes down to perception, like we were talking in the last video. It doesn't look like Ben Henderson's been in a fight. I mean, he didn't look like he looked like he had been like, you know, chilling out all day, drinking Coca-Cola and eating barbecue. And he didn't look like he had been in a fight at all, you know.
Frankie didn't look as bad this time.
Not as bad, no. But, I mean, I think it comes down to perception. You know, Ben Henderson looks way bigger than Frankie. He doesn't look like he's getting hurt by anything, you know. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I don't know what the judges see, but I have to admit that I'm pretty happy that Ben won, not only because I picked him, but because I didn't want it to go to a split decision loss for Ben Henderson and then have, like, another rematch because...
They wouldn't have
Dana White said there was going to be
They say that, but you never know. It's when it's a split decision loss to the champion and he just gave a rematch to Frankie. You never know. I mean, you never know. I want to see Nate Diaz fight Ben Henderson. And honestly, I'd rather see Nate Diaz fight Ben Henderson than see Nate Diaz fight Frankie Edgar.
Nate Diaz actually said he wanted to fight Ben Henderson, but he thought Frankie won the fight.
Yeah, I saw that. But they didn't really want to fight each other either, Frankie and Nate, because they both train with the Gracies and they like consider themselves like kind of part of the same team, but not exactly. Like they when they switch coasts, they train with each other and stuff. So, but getting ahead of myself a little bit, I feel like Nate Diaz will beat Ben Henderson. That's my pick, way in advance.
I like Diaz.
Yeah, I think this is his time.
I think Frankie won that fight and he got hosed. He got fucking hosed. I wonder if perceptions with the judges who they wanted to win the fight, because it seems like the only people that say Ben Henderson won the fight wanted Ben Henderson to win the fight.
Well, everybody on Fuel said that they thought Frankie won. Like all the analysts, all the fighters.
Yeah, everybody. And I picked Ben Henderson, but I thought Frankie won.
Yeah.
4-1 at that.
Yeah,
one of the judges had it that way.
A lot of people thought it was either 4-1 or 2-3. They thought that Ben Henderson won round 1 and 3.
3. Yeah, it would have been the next closest, I think.
But
4 was kind of close, but it was Frankie's, and 5 was Frankie's, man.
Maybe I just don't like Frankie Edgar.
What do you think? I know they've been talking the shit out about this, but what do you think about Frankie moving to 145? He hasn't said he'll do it, but what do you think?
I think he will.
He should.
You know, they said even if he moves to 145, he doesn't get the immediate title shot against Aldo. I think he should. Who else is Aldo going to be fighting after he fights his upcoming fight? I mean, there's not a lot of contenders, so I think he should get the immediate title shot. I mean, some people would argue that he's still he still should be the 155 champion.
When did they say that he wouldn't get it?
I think Dana White said it at the press conference after 150.
After the fight? Said that Frankie wouldn't get Aldo first fight?
No, he would have to take a fight first, they said. Yeah. Which is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty.
I think that he should get...
Dude was the champ, held the champ, beat BJ Penn, and then probably lost two controversial decisions.
And probably won this last one realistically.
I tell you what, I don't like Ben Henderson as much after
his
these
fault.
Fights. Not just because of the win, it's his attitude and how after that win, he was just flat out like, "Oh, I won that fight. What are you talking about? I'm the man. Like, it's no big deal." Like, you had to know that shit was close. Dude.
Yeah, but
you probably had to know you lost.
But if you come out and say, on a close victory like that, I think I lost that fight, it doesn't sound like a champion for 1, 2. You're kind of setting yourself up for another chance at somebody getting a rematch again. So I say let him fight Diaz and lose.
He just seemed pretty cocky to me too.
Well,
not to barely have won. It's not like he went in there and just dominated. John Jones gets a little cocky like that, but well, fuck, why can't he be? He ran through Forrest. Some people that they thought there was no way he had a chance. That was just running through him.
I understand Frankie. He may even stay at 155 and have to fight. Some people. Who knows? Maybe fight Jim Miller or Clay Guida or whoever. But either way, there's a lot of people in line for a title shot, and they need their chance. You got coming up Nate Diaz, and then Cerrone's going to fight Pettis. Pettis has been promised a title shot like 3 times now and getting screwed. I mean, all these guys, he beat Ben Henderson in the last fight. He was the last WC champion. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, all these people need their chance. I mean, Gray Maynard might even beat Ben Henderson if he got a chance, Who knows? I mean, you can't just keep having the same 2 guys fight each other 3 fights in a row.
Gray Maynard's got a better chance of getting a shot now.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. And I think Aldo needs competition, so I think Frankie going down, even though it doesn't sound like he wants to.
He needs to, though, man. He's small.
He is.
He's better suited for 145.
But, they were talking about that he might lose his speed advantage that he has if he goes down to 145. But I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's much bigger than even the 145ers, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably would lose the speed advantage, but he is going to gain the strength.
The strength, I say,
they're not necessarily going to be faster than him, much as fast,
I'll tell you what, has anybody out-wrestled Frankie Edgar ever?
Not really. Maynard, when he got him down, I wouldn't even say he out-wrestled him.
I mean, most people think he got the better of Maynard in the wrestling even, so I don't know. I mean,
he was even taking Henderson down pretty strong in that fight.
He might literally be the best MMA wrestler in the lightweight division.
And his boxing's good, man. Yeah. He throws good combos, his movement, his footwork. He's good. He just seems so little at 155.
Yeah, let's go over the bonuses on that fight. Don Cerrone, he was the big top winner at 183,600. You get the 60,000.
That was a hell of a fight.
Oh yeah, it was. I can't wait to talk about that fight here in a second. Let's just talk about it. I guess we'll break.
It's a 1 minute fight. Do you really think it should have been fight of the night?
Yes,
I do for sure. After watching the rest of the fights,
right after the fight, I was like, "It's fight of the night for sure."
Really?
Going to beat it. Yeah, no matter how short it is, the problem is how back and forth it was, man, and it never stopped.
So, did you think at first when he got kicked in the head, did you think he missed? Because a lot of people thought he missed.
When you watch it, the thing is they don't see the punch before it. I don't think they noticed that he got cracked with a punch before that kick because the angle they had wasn't good.
But
you know what I mean?
He got cracked. Melvin
got cracked with a punch before he threw that kick. But was already. I mean, he got cracked.
If you watch that kick in slow mo, it really did hit him. Man.
Yeah, dude, it hit him right on his temple, right?
And he wobbled, and he was like this.
Oh, dude, he was staggering. His feet were going off.
But he also took a big shot before that kick too. So between the two of them, shit, and then that follow-up punch was nasty.
No, that follow-up punch. Yeah. But what was nice though is you could tell that they were friends because
he went for the choke.
He came in like he was on the ground and he stopped and like looked at the ref and was like, "Come on, come stop this. This guy's my friend. I don't want to have to jump on him and wail on this dude while he's out cold."
Yeah, didn't he go in for a choke?
He looked like he was going to hit him at first, then
he came in like he was going to just pound on him some more because he was just laying out, like laying on his side.
And when he got his arm like around his neck, they stopped it. And I mean, they show all the finishes on Fuel, so I got to see the finishes.
Yeah, it was good. It was fight of the night.
I agree.
Fuel TV is good, by the way.
The fight before that, Jake Shields, was a Jake Shields fight, like a Dana White quote. It's a Jake Shields fight.
Right.
I mean, it was.
Dude's
it
boring
was,
Oh,
as shit.
He took him down over and over again, worked him, didn't do a lot of damage. But I felt the referees kept pushing, like threatening to stand him up when they were like working.
Yeah, maybe
they've
they felt
seen that several
intimidated.
times now. I've seen that a couple times in several fights where guys on the ground, you work in jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and like they're in position, like if they're in a position for like 3 seconds, come on guys, let's work, or I'm gonna stand. You're like, really? These guys are moving. I mean,
I saw a referee stand up a fight when the other guy had mount in Strikeforce. It was ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine you have mount? You're like trying to punch the guy in the face, and the ref's like, "I'm gonna stand you guys up."
No, I would be like,
are you fucking kidding me? He like punched the referee in the mouth.
Like, no,
what
I'm
are
not
you talking about.
I'm not getting up. No,
I have mount. What are you fucking talking about? I will say I did say Ed Herman wouldn't get submitted. It would go to decision. I was right.
You were.
You were right. You are the champ.
Oh, that's right. I am the champ.
You are the champ.
The
You were
belt
right a lot.
The belt is back home.
Who's
Shiny.
there?
8-2.
8-2. Brings you up to tie Dan for the overall.
Yeah, I went back and looked though. I didn't get every main event right. I missed one on it was either FX or Fuel Card. I missed one. So yeah.
Well, it wasn't.
If anybody wants to call me out on it, I call myself out. I'm not undefeated.
Still championship main events.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't missed any UFC events yet, but I missed I missed Ian McCall versus Mighty Mouse. That's the one I missed. Remember that? I picked Ian McCall.
Yep.
How big of a disappointment is that from Elvin Gillard, though? I mean, I know it's back a fight, but
well, he didn't miss. He missed weight, and
I know,
as soon as I heard he missed weight,
and then he gets knocked out.
As soon as I heard he missed weight, I started to worry about my pick because he's never missed weight. And then the second thing that bothered me is they were interviewing him on Fuel for something, the countdown or some bullshit, and he said that when they sparred at Greg Jackson's, that Donald Cerrone usually got the best of him. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding.
Do you think
you just said that? Seriously? You just told everybody that normally you lose to this guy? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Cerrone said that he'd be in training and Cerrone would start catching him and he'd be backing off like, dude, if this was real, I'd get you. It was practice, man. Calm down.
He did.
You can get in your head though. If you got that in your head, it's hard to do it.
For sure. If you
he didn't fight with it in his head. He fought and almost had him. I mean, he was
came out,
fighting
he caught him, and Don Cerrone was
Cerrone said he had never been dropped before.
It was funny. I liked that after the fight. He's like, so Donald. He's like, when did you start feeling okay from the effects of that first shot you caught? He goes, right now. It was good. It was a good
backstage too. He said, "You're right, man." He goes, "You're right. You never hit me like that in practice." That's what Cerrone said to Gillard. And he said, "What knocked him in the knee?" He goes, "No, it was the body shot."
Yeah, liver shot.
Yeah, he said that body shot, man. He goes, I'm still fucked up because, and he told Gillard, he's like, dude, I almost shit. He's like, you hit me, I almost shit, man.
Oh man, that'd be terrible, dude.
Yeah, he was saying at the press conference that he went down after Gillard was down and he was going for the hit him, and he's thinking, I know this dude's wife. I've had Christmas with his kids. I know his kids. I just couldn't do it, and he's like. So I went in for the choke instead.
I really like Cerrone. Yeah. I like his attitude.
Oh, dude, I do too. I like
but I mean, do you really feel like, let's say he beats Pettis? Well, I'm not saying he will, but let's say he beats Pettis.
He could.
What if Diaz beats Henderson? Do you really want to see Diaz beat or fight Cerrone again? Because I thought Diaz definitively beat Cerrone.
Yeah, is Cerrone better now, though? I mean, it's been a while.
Cerrone, though, however, did look really shitty in that fight.
Or Nate looked really good. One of the two.
No, he looked shitty because Cerrone looked really good in his previous fights and really good after his fights he did. In that fight, he looked like, oh, fuck.
I like Nate's attitude, though, because Ben's like Mr. Nice Guy. He ain't going to be able to be Mr. Nice Guy with Nate because Nate's going to be a dick right off the bat. I mean,
he's too cocky, though, man, and he's that champ. He is going to fire back. There's no way that Nate doesn't somewhat get into his head and makes him a little bit off what he normally does. There's no way he stays just calm, cool, and collected the whole time. Usual. Because Nate's going to be like, fuck him, I'm going to punch him in his face, that fucking pussy, or you know what I mean? And the guy
Nate Diaz has the highest.
He's going to
like, what do you mean?
Nate Diaz has the highest striking accuracy of anybody in the UFC. It's like 83% or something.
The jab. He jabs like a motherfucker. Jab, 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 jab.
Yeah, there's no way Benson Henderson's going to be able to avoid all that. And do you go to the ground with Nate Diaz when that motherfucker submits people off his back all the fucking time?
You could kick the fuck out of Nate Diaz's legs, though.
That's true. That's true.
And he had,
so it will be in there. The problem is, ground-wise, you got to give it to Diaz.
Yeah, okay, what's the next fight?
Yushin Okami. I was just looking at that one. That fight was the fight was kind of TKO punches.
I'm glad Yushin Okami won.
Like Yushin Okami, the fight came out and like Buddy Roberts. I picked Buddy Roberts.
Yeah, I know he did.
And he threw some good leg kicks and some good punches, and I felt like Yushin Okami did. He knew he didn't want to strike.
Who'd you pick?
Buddy Roberts.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember.
I know that cost me that a tie with you over there for that belt.
Let's see. Yushin Okami was going to be a third fight loss in a row if he'd have lost. So I'm glad he won.
He was going to lose until he started getting teed off on. He was getting caught big time, and then he started taking Buddy Roberts down. He took him down in the first round. At like the middle of the first round, he was getting kicked on, and then the second round he came out and was getting like a couple of shots on him, and he took him down immediately, and then finished the fight. Ended up finishing it because Buddy Roberts' ground game looked like it was non-existent, like he didn't have any.
Well, I'm glad that Yushin won, not only for the fact that I picked him, but now he gets to keep his job at least. Maybe he'll get put on the Chinese card. Who knows? Card in China.
There was a fight that stands out to me, a guy that Joe Rogan said was known for taking a lot of punishment. Joe Rogan knew what the fuck he was talking about, because there was a fight, God, who the fuck was it? It was on the Keith Jardine Rampage Jackson card. I don't know if you can remember that. It's
a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it goes
like
a while
UFC
back.
87 or something.
Holy shit. It was on that card, a fight on an earlier fight was a New York guy, I can't remember his name, against
it was UFC 96.
Matt Brown, maybe.
I was off.
Damn. Matt Brown, I think. Who'd Matt Brown fight?
Matt Brown fought Pete Sell.
Pete Sell. That guy.
He wasn't on the last fight.
Dude, they should have stopped the fight while the guy was standing. He was getting beat up so bad, that even Matt Brown, as he was tagging him, standing up, would stop and look at the ref and was going, like, what the fuck? He'd go, okay, and the ref would be like, fight, and he'd go up there and he'd like hit him 3 more times in the face, hit him again real hard, and then stop and look at the ref like, dude, he's not even blocking shit. It was so bad. And this almost reminded me of that. This guy was just hands down, chin up.
Who was it? What's the next fight on the card? What's the next fight on the card, Dan?
For 150?
Yeah. Jared Hammond, maybe. Maybe.
And Ian McCall got arrested today. We don't know why yet. At least I don't know why yet.
I bet he was in a white van.
He looks like a molester.
Well,
want some candy, little girls?
I was reading that I was reading that I was reading he was a recovering drug addict, and they didn't say he relapsed or they caught him with drugs yet. At least not yet, but you never know. So hopefully it's not something bad. Hopefully it's not something that knocks him out of his next fight.
Who's he fighting?
I don't know, but it's a flyweight fight. I know that much. Of course, that he's a flyweight, so I guess that's kind of fucking dumb.
Dana White
says, hey, a flyweight's fighting at flyweight.
They'll put in a 115 here eventually.
I hope not.
They're doing it.
Unless I know
strawweight, I think. I'm guessing
they're doing it because of the Asian guys are smaller and the Latin Americans are falling smaller. They said, but I mean they can't even fill out the flyweight division. So I mean realistically, if there's not a whole lot of competition when you get below 155, in my opinion, yet. I mean they'll build them up eventually, but they haven't yet. I mean, why are you going to open up a 115 class? I mean,
did you know what Ian McCall's nickname is?
Uncle Creepy.
Uncle Creepy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's pretty awesome.
It was from 2 hours ago.
Awesome.
Apparently he was just arrested for an outstanding warrant for like a unpaid ticket.
He's being held on.
The warrant was he's already out, stemmed from a ticket issued in June for McCall he was driving with a suspended license. And they saw him, they had an outstanding warrant, so he was arrested. He was on parole, though, it says, from a previous charge, and a warrant was issued in his name. It says the UFC flyweight must spend a mandatory time of 30 days in jail, actually, and his release date currently scheduled for September 13th.
So he has to go in jail for 30 days?
Yep.
I know they said that he had before, when I saw it earlier, I thought they said that he had $16,000 bail.
Well, why didn't he just pay that? He didn't make that much money yet?
Hell, I don't know.
Fuck it, get it back. Just go to court.
For sure. Any other fights we're going to cover from 150?
Probably not.
What's his name? The guy from the Ultimate Fighter with the... What's his name? Damn it. He won by submission of the night. Vampire Teeth. What's his name?
I don't watch that show.
Damn it, Dan.
What is it?
The guy that won the submission of the night at UFC 150. He was Ultimate Fighter finale. He won submission of the night. He has vampire teeth. I picked him. That was pretty awesome.
Dennis Bermudez.
There we go. Dennis Bermudez. There we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, he won submission of the night.
When's the Cormier mirror fight?
It's going to be in September, I think. September 29th, maybe.
I like that fight. I really like Cormier.
Speaking of that, Cormier says that if he beats Mir, he's going to ask the UFC for a title shot in heavyweight, which could be interesting, considering if Cain Velasquez ends up...
said he didn't want to fight him.
Right, but if he ends up beating JDS, then he's the champion, and then they give the title shot to Cormier, then what happens?
Chael Sonnen, Forrest Griffin?
Chael Sonnen, Forrest
Griffin. If he doesn't look any better than he did against Tito Ortiz...
Is Chael Sonnen too small to go to 205?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is, but man, he's going to look small next to Forrest.
I don't think he's going to look that small.
Forrest, a big 205er. And he's tall. He's like 6'5", isn't he? Or 6'4"?
6'3", 6'4".
Forrest Griffin.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's 6'3", with a 77-inch reach.
Wrestling's his weakness, probably.
Well, they've already fought. It's a rematch. Forrest beat him by
Chael
triangle.
Sonnen is 6'1", so he's only 2 inches taller than him. I mean, that's not much. And Chael Sonnen's gonna have a 4-inch reach advantage at 74 inches.
So,
and it's gonna be a rematch. They last fought. Let's see.
It was a long time ago before Forrest was even in the UFC.
And he still got triangle chokes. So.
Yeah, well, that's his weakness.
I bet his triangle chokes got a lot better, and Chael's defense probably didn't.
Yeah, he lost to Forrest Griffin in 2003.
Yeah, and the Ultimate Fighter 1, I think, was 2005. So
in the IFC.
Here's the deal. This is what I think. I saw Chael announce that on Fuel because he was on, like, I don't know, Inside UFC or something like that as a analyst, and he announced that he was going to be going to 205, and his first fight back was Forrest. And he talked up Forrest high, like, he had nothing but good things to say about Forrest, about how everybody's overlooking him, and he's a former champion, and he's one of the best in the division. And then
he lost to him.
Right. He talked him up major, and people are dismissing him as a contender for John Jones. And I'm thinking, well, he said he didn't want to fight John Jones. That's what I'm thinking. But he was like saying that no one's even considering him, and he's one of the best in the world, and he's like talked him all up. And I realized like a few days later, John Jones and Chael are having like a Twitter war. Because Chael starts talking shit on John Jones, and John Jones started firing back. And I see right away what he's doing is he's smart. Chael Sonnen's a smart dude. Mm-hmm. He's positioning himself so that if he beats Forrest Griffin, then he might be able to get a title shot against John Jones. Because realistically, they're around having after Machida fights, whoever wins between John and Dan, how many's left? I mean, they're kind of setting up maybe Gustafsson and Shogun. Like, I could see how that might be another number one contender fight.
You want to see Shogun and Jones again? I don't.
Yeah, but don't you think that's what they're setting up? Like, if Gustafsson wins, they'll offer him number one contender.
I don't.
They might be hoping Gustafsson wins.
I don't want to see a John Jones Shogun fight again.
The movie.
I think the GSP is going to happen. You said.
This is what Dana White basically said, that both camps want it to happen. And the only thing that I heard is that Dana White said that he has to get through Condit first, and that
huge favorite.
GSP's trainer said that it could happen as soon as Super Bowl weekend. But that's just his trainer, so I mean it's not necessarily a solid source per se. But
so he's going to rehab from the surgery, take a fight in November, and then another fight in February. GSP's never fought within 3. Tell me when the last time GSP fought within 3 months
from
each other.
Can't even know. Been a long time though.
Probably before he was champ ever for sure.
But Yeah, Anderson Silva says he's not fighting for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's normal. Twice a year.
So, I mean, and what I heard is, this is what I heard, and I think it was right after 150, Dana White said this, that they're going to go for the GSP Anderson Silva fight, and if Anderson Silva loses the Condit, they're going to push for the Weidman.
GSP, you mean?
If GSP loses the Condit, they're going to push for the Weidman Silva fight. Even though Silva's already turned that fight down from what I understood. But
yeah, because the guy's nobody yet. He wants to fight bigger. He wants bigger. Fuck, he's the man.
He actually hasn't fought.
Why fight some little guy that's got a chance that has no name compared to GSP?
That's going to be a big money fight, especially if they put the motherfucker in Brazil or Canada.
It's probably going in Texas, man.
What?
Texas.
Really?
Cowboy Stadium. Man,
I think they would get way more people into Brazil Stadium or
they could in Brazil,
Canadian
but they're not
stadium.
going to do that to GSP. They're going to have to do
Why?
neutral
They're
ground
not
on
gonna-
that fight. You
They're not
can't.
going to boo the shit out of
It's a super
GSP.
fight. It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
matter.
still,
It's a super fight,
hometown.
man.
It's a hometown thing.
It's a fucking super fight.
Do you
You're
want to know the
taking
last
two
time he
dominant
fought
champions.
with him? Like it was
2004.
2008 actually.
Yeah.
He fought in
2004. He wasn't even in the UFC in 2004, was he?
Yes, actually in
What?
2004. That was his first fight in the
Oh,
UFC,
wow.
his debut. I was actually in attendance
Oh,
against
yeah, you
Carl
mentioned that shit
Parisian
before.
at
Yeah,
UFC. Yeah,
You brag a lot about that.
I mean, hey, we talk about it. I'm going to bring it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm the only one that's ever been to a UFC fight.
Hey, I mean, who all here at the table been to a UFC
That's
fight?
true.
Thank you.
They win them all.
Did Greg Jackson say he was going to be either corner? Like Condits or GSPs?
I don't
Kind of,
know.
probably. His GSP's not really.
He is kind of, but he's more TriStar.
No, actually, Greg Jackson was going to
He
be
pulled
in.
off with Greg Jackson. I
Greg
think.
Jackson was going to be in GSP, and then Carlos Condit went and trained with somebody else there. Whenever a couple years ago, when they felt that they knew those two were going to fight for the title eventually, that Carlos Condit went and trained, focused with somebody else at the gym in GSP.
So, but is Greg Jackson going to be in anybody's corner?
I would imagine he's probably going to be in GSP's corner because he was the one who worked with GSP, and then somebody else in their gym is the one who's worked with Carlos Condit.
I still think Condit's going to win that fight.
I do too. He's going to be 18 months off.
I mean, it makes the most sense. If you're going to get to see GSP Silva, if GSP wins, then it only makes sense that GSP is going to lose because you're not going to get what you want.
If GSP wins, he can't fight Anderson. I mean, that'd be if he wins the belt. Can you really give him a fight against against Anderson
Condit
Silva?
won?
No, if GSP wins, you can't set up that fight with Silva.
Yeah, you can. It's a catchweight.
That's the
It's
only
gonna
way
be
he's getting
180.
that fight.
Yeah, but do you really want to let both those two fight each other when they're both champion of different weights?
If
Yeah,
it's
it's at a
if
catchweight.
it's a catchweight, it won't change the belts.
Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, you want to have both your champions tied up in a catchweight fight?
I'm telling you, they're doing
that's a
that
big
one?
fight,
Yeah.
but
They want to do it for the money. Guaranteed big payday for both of them.
Hell yeah, it's
That's
huge.
but that puts your top
And they want to break
division
records.
belts on hold for what? Anderson Silva.
Everybody's
Anderson
for
Silva
it.
fights every 6
Dana
months.
White's
So that
for
means,
Who's he supposed to fight? Anderson Silva's beat everybody. GSP's beat everybody.
I mean, they got to fight. I mean,
Everybody's
he's got to fight
for it.
Carlos Condit now.
GSP's team's for it. Anderson Silva's team's for it. Dana White's for it. There's nobody against it. You know, it's going to happen.
GSP wants it now?
Oh yeah, that's what his team's saying at least. I mean, you haven't heard it out of his mouth, but
Fuck, that's crazy to me.
I know. I can't see GSP winning that.
GSP's
you,
getting knocked the fuck out.
it's
man.
about the money. I'm telling you. You know, they're thinking.
But GSP's made a ton of fucking
This
money.
is what they're thinking.
Anderson
Anderson Silva and GSP are thinking. Anderson Silva made almost $7 million at UFC 148 against Chael Sonnen, based on Chael Sonnen hype. Think about the hype that's going to be behind GSP versus Anderson Silva. They're talking
Dude,
about.
he's so much bigger than GSP, man.
They're talking about huge amount of money. That's what it's all about, you know.
Let's see, George
Maybe
St. Pierre.
Maybe George St. Pierre thinks he can win too. Who knows?
George
got
St.
to.
Pierre is 5'10" with a 76 inch.
You can't
reach.
take it if you don't.
I don't know. People take a lot of fights and don't know if they can win. I don't think Brandon Vera thought he could win.
Dude, Matt Serra knocked him out. What do you think Anderson Silva's going to do to him?
Yeah, GSP.
You really think
and
GSP's
then-
wrestling is good enough to just come in and...
He would have to fight the perfect fight, and I just don't think he's as strong as Chael Sonnen to get those takedowns every time.
No, Anderson's defense was good. I mean, he even held him off on that. And Sonnen...
Sonnen
I mean,
took
maybe
him
if you
right
had
down.
like Daniel Cormier wrestling strength.
Sonnen
But
took
that was
you
a
just
hell
pick
of a
somebody
thing.
up
I'm
and
saying
carry him
Anderson's
around.
fighting it, and I don't think GSP just takes him down that easy.
I don't think he's
going
going to take down. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. I mean,
And he's going to start kickboxing and shit, and that's... Dude, he's not gonna. He's nowhere even near.
It just cements Anderson Silva, really. Because
it'll be that's why he wants it so bad.
It'll be like a highlight reel knockout, and it's a knockout of GSP. That's not just anybody. That's a knockout of GSP, How many people have knocked out GSP?
Yeah,
one person.
But it's still a little guy.
The reach isn't going to be much different, 77.6 to 76.
Yeah, I mean, the striking's not even, remotely
and the height is only going to be 3 inches off.
GSP's got good striking, but it's going to be nowhere. Anderson will just pick him apart. Nasty. GSP would have to put him on his back, and he's so big that it's going to be a lot harder.
I will say I don't think that GSP will get submitted if he does get him down. I haven't seen anybody really put up a very good jiu-jitsu game from the bottom against GSP. He's way better than he was in 2004.
Anderson's big.
No one's even. I
don't think he's on his back anyway.
Even if he gets him on his back, though, I don't think Anderson's submitting him like he did Chael Sonnen. I think Anderson gets back up, honestly, but
GSP's not going to jab him to death like Koscheck, I'll tell you that.
No. Anderson's footwork's too good.
Roy Nelson on TUF. Honestly, I think he might get knocked the fuck out this time.
Who?
Roy Nelson, the guy that can't get knocked out.
Who's he fighting again?
Shane Carwin.
Well, I'll tell you,
he's not anybody that can.
He's not a company man, is he?
No, but you got another guy with wrestling, that he's just big, man. He's going to be a lot bigger than Roy Nelson.
Yeah, but Carwin blows his wad in the first round usually.
Yeah, but Nelson's not. He goes that long, but it's not like he's not tired. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It looks like a lot of tension between Roy Nelson and Dana White.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
It's because he says that Roy Nelson could be an amazing fighter if he took it seriously and trained like a real fighter, and he could be amazing.
Roy Nelson's doing some weird shit. He's trying to get pro wrestlers on Tough, and he tried to get Kurt Angle on Tough, and what was the other guy? King Mo from Strikeforce, who's not with Strikeforce anymore because he got busted for steroids, and he's on a suspension. I mean, you can't have a guy that's on a suspension for steroids showing up on Tough as an assistant coach. What is that guy thinking? Kurt Angle, I mean, yeah, he was an Olympic gold medalist in '96, but right now he's on Spike TV as a pro wrestler. So, I mean, that's where the UFC just came from. Why would they want to give publicity back to Spike TV? And I don't understand. It's like Roy Nelson's doing stuff on purpose to totally piss the UFC off. He wants every one of his opponents blood tested, Olympic type of Olympic drug testing. Roy Nelson wants everybody Olympic drug tested. He's just
saying all that shit because of Carwin.
Did you hear Randy Couture said he's not coming back to fight unless Steven Seagal signs up?
I'd pay to see that.
Here it is.
Did you guys see the video of fucking GSP training with Jean-Claude Van Damme? Mm-hmm. That was hilarious.
Did you see the interview about him? He's how he talked about how Jean-Claude Van Damme, he thought he'd be this out of shape actor, and he's not. He's in amazing shape now.
He was just in the Expendables.
He said he was talking about how he's got the most amazing kicks. They said Jean-Claude Van Damme has the most. He said he takes his leg and he can keep it in the air and just kick the shit out of you with ever taking his leg down. There was a MMA share video I watched.
Yeah, he was.
He had a pretty good record. He was 28-2 or something.
He was in a video and he was kicking bags with George St.Pierre. And I thought it was hilarious because they always have Steven Seagal with Anderson Silva, and now they got Jean-Claude Van Damme with George St.Pierre. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know what's up with
They need to have somebody training with Chuck Norris now, have John Jones training with Chuck Norris or something.
Right.
Earlier you were talking about Ronda Rousey. She says, I'm going to rip her arm off and throw it to her corner.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night. Ronda Rousey's fighting Sarah Kaufman.
That's a bad bitch.
Tomorrow night on Showtime. If you have Showtime, I suggest you watch it.
She says
she's going to kill her.
Cyborg says she wants to fight her. Rousey says she's got to come down to 135. She doesn't care if she injects horse semen in her eyeballs as long as she can make 135.
I'd like to see that fight, but boy, did you guys see the weigh-ins? Ronda Rousey looks not only ripped but super hot, honestly.
She did that naked photo shoot in
ESPN.
Yeah. She got a nice butt, man. Really nice butt.
Well, Sarah Kaufman...
A little too worked out for me, but...
Sarah Kaufman looks smaller when they were next to each other in the weigh-in. But supposedly, as far as statistics go, her striking's supposed to be way better than Rousey. So we'll see what happens. We haven't really seen Rousey take much of a punch yet, so...
She's going to end up on her back, so how good can she strike from there?
Well, I guess we'll wait and see. I'm hoping Rousey wins, because...
That's a bad bitch.
I enjoy the fights with her so far. So, but yeah,
she's got to be a huge favorite. Nobody wants Kaufman to win, right?
I don't know, but I know Miesha Tate's fighting on that card too. The one that got her arm screwed up in the last fight.
Yeah.
So she's fighting on. She's fighting on
That's
that.
That's a tough bitch right there.
Yeah, her arm got janked out, man. She's hot too.
She was like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just a little sore."
Yeah.
And then later was like, "Well, she basically just ripped all the muscle and tendon off the bone." What?
That's a bad bitch.
Yeah, like, how's your arm? She's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just a little sore."
Yeah, she tried to say what? She tried to say it wasn't broke and shit.
Yeah,
like,
just a little floppy over here.
Yeah, basically ripped everything off the bone. Give us a thumbs up for Rousey, thumbs down for Kaufman.
Whoever you think's gonna win.
Yeah. So all you Kaufman fans, hook us up with some thumbs downs.
Tomorrow night, showtime. Like, subscribe, favorite guys.
We out.